Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Rich Clark, Guide to the Right Path whenever you're listening to this. And today, I usually share about topics, but I'm actually going to share, because it's actually my 44th birthday today, I'm going to share about my story and who I am. So this is Rich Clark, Guide to the Right Path, my story, why I became a therapist. So there was a time I didn't believe I'd find peace again in my life. I was doing everything I thought I should, working hard, helping others, trying to hold it all together. Inside, something was quietly falling apart. I didn't know it then, but the breaking was actually an awakening. And there was a lot of issues I had. So, like many people, I learned to hide pain well in the past. I told myself I was fine. The strength meant silence. But life has a way of showing you the truth when you're finally ready to see it. For me, that truth came through anxiety, loss, and deep reflection. Now, the loss was I'd had when I was a teenager. I had a lot of bereavements happen. A lot of family members had passed. My grandfather died when I was 13, and my father died when I was 15. And he was diagnosed with cancer on my 15th birthday and died 6 weeks later. As a child, I had a lot of. I was very creative, but I was also very well read, and that was a bit of a struggle when I was at school. And that anxiety was always about what I felt I could say, what I couldn't say, how connected I was spiritually to myself, but I didn't really have much help on that. And and then also that deep reflection was I saw things in a bigger way outside of the environment I was in. I'm an only child as well, so I had not really many friends. Grew up in a village with not many children in it, and there was moments I had to stop and listen, not to the world, but to something within. And as I grew older, I was very into arts and I got into music. I was a music songwriter. But even when I was doing that, I was always finding that there was something stopping me. It wasn't going to the path I wanted to go. There was something I felt was deeper. And I sort of started changing that I'd been in the music industry for 2 years. From the age of 25 to 27, I worked in A&R. And when I worked in that environment, I realized it wasn't for me. There was something I didn't think it was creative enough. And so I thought that actually all the learning I had done, all the experience I'd done, I should put into teaching. And when I got into teaching, again, another sort of, I've done different roles, done different things to learn where my path is, and then found out it wasn't where I wanted to go, but it was all the experience of learning. And within that, I got to about the age of, I'd been engaged from the age of 28 to 30. And I realized that wasn't who I wanted to be with. And I was teaching secondary school children English at the time. And then I started to go into the holistic path when I was about 30. So I started learning tarot, reflexology, and I learned all these different holistic things while I was doing a business with a friend of mine. It was a business to help people get employed. And while I did that, I then started to discover about hypnotherapy. And when I learned about hypnotherapy, I found that with hypnotherapy, it wasn't a quick fix, but it was a mirror to the soul. And it helped me see that healing isn't about erasing what happened, it's about understanding it, accepting it, and transforming it into something wiser. As I began this work, I realized I just wasn't healing myself, I was remembering who I actually really was. Remembering, understanding myself became my calling. So today, my work brings together everything that's helped me grow from learning about psychotherapy privately, CBT, as a trained hypnotherapist, and then spiritual understanding the chakra work, understanding the energy, prana healing, Reiki, learning from the idea of connection to guides via tarot reading and so forth, and intuition. And all of this was then, I call it the guidance onto the right path, which is why I call my name Rich Clark, Guide to the Right Path, because that's what it truly is. Through helping people find clarity when their life feels lost, peace when the mind won't be quiet, and connection when the soul feels far away. Why am I talking about this? Well, I think it's important to always know who you are, what you do, and through my understanding of the chakras and also understanding that I have heritage, which is deep heritage, great grandmother and so forth, which is Tamil, which is from South India, I started learning more about what that spirituality was and learning about how that aligned with me, because I never felt aligned with the idea of the Western idea of Christianity or anything like that. And I looked into different religions as well. I looked into Islam, I looked into Judaism and so forth, and none of it aligned with me very well. Whereas I found Hinduism, what we call modern day Hinduism, did, but this is actually more traditional. It's a lot more it's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more integrative and a lot more spiritually aligned. So I believe we all have an inner light. That inner light is the solar plexus telling us who we are. And I think it's sometimes, and I think mainly, it's dimmed by fear, guilt, or grief, or conditioning through society. But it's never gone. And my role is to simply help you find it again. So whether it's through the Life Empowerment Path, which is a program I feel is very deeply helps within 7 to 8 weeks, helps find all them chakras and find the root of who you are, how you connect, who you are, where your emotions are, your communication to speak about who you are, your understanding of that in you for your intuition, and then being open to the universe for that. Or if you want to do it because you've got of smaller sessions because you feel you don't have so many issues, then bridging that with the ARC program. And then also just connecting to them guides, which is the spiritual hypnotherapy or reconnecting with your guides and higher self. And that is where once you connect with your guides, I help you connect with a guide. And then you learn an affirmation or a mantra, and then you can connect that with daily meditation, how I do. So I use daily meditation to connect with my guides, which is my father, my grandfather, my next door neighbor Felix, other ancestors, just to help me to feel that I'm not swaying off the path and just to know that there is someone to support you. And everything I do is about one thing, helping you come home to yourself. So with that, I've seen people transform, not because I fixed them. Is healing is remembering who you are, what your path is, what your destiny is. And that's the path I walk with every client, every day, every hour, every time I work with a client, is to help them with that. So if something in this story speaks to you, maybe it's time to begin your new path. And if you want to book a free discovery call with me at www.richclark.net, and together we'll begin uncovering the life that's waiting beneath the noise and the chatter